So Tarkov, man. So like in my personal opinion, I still think that Tarkov is kind of still a little ahead of the game in regards to extraction shooters, and that's just because they've had a lot of time, a lot of money to get in and really fill that game out. Now, I also was the same way, where like PvP, there's some sweats in there that would just absolutely destroy you in PvP, especially if you're coming in late to the wipe and you're just behind the curve in general when it came to gear. So there, have you heard of it's called single player Tarkov, SPTarkov. So what that is it's actually a mod, right? So if you own Tarkov, then you go to this SPTarkov website and you download this. It's ultimately a mod that takes it completely offline, and it's all just run on your computer. There's no player controlled characters in it. It's all NPC controlled or AI controlled. And then from there, you can dive even further into it, where you can download more mods. Yeah, it definitely has pissed that community off, because quite honestly, man, it's in a lot of ways better than, I guess, vanilla Tarkov, right? Or like retail Tarkov, because of just the sheer amount of mods that you can do that people have come out with. So, you know, also Tarkov has come out with their own version of PvE. I think you have to buy like either a certain version of Tarkov, or you can buy like that a package to be able to upgrade you to be able to play the PvE side. But it's still, you know, it's a good simulation to what SPTarkov is doing. But yeah, dude, that's the biggest problem. Is one, it costs, I think you got to buy like the $100 version to be able to get that single player, or you have to buy just that piece by itself, which is again increasing the price by, you know, another 30-40 bucks. But the cool thing is the SPTarkov, you download the mod and you can really tailor it. There's a lot of other mods that you can add to it where you can tailor your experience of it. So if you want, you can like drop the difficulty of the bots down. You could drop the difficulty of just the scavs and make the bosses still at kind of like the normal difficulty, or you can increase it if you want. If you're you know, kicking ass in that game, you can make it harder. It just, there's hundreds and hundreds of mods that you can really tailor that game to how you want it. The biggest problem that I've seen with it, though, and this is the same with the PvE version of Tarkov too, if you buy that, is that what happens is, instead of the scavs in their brain working off of the server that you connect yourself to, it's all run locally off your computer. So if you have a CPU that is not literally like one of the higher tier CPUs, the game is going to struggle, because all of that thinking is now being done local instead of being kind of offshoot to the server, the Tarkov servers. So you definitely have to have a computer that's a little bit more up there to be able to get, you know, good frames. But I mean, there is solutions for that too. Like I use what's called lossless scaling. You buy it for like $4 off of Steam, or $7 off of Steam, something like that. And what that does is it basically just introduces frame gen to the game, right? So the problem that you get from that is that you have a little bit of lag with your movement, but you get, you know, instead of getting 40-50 frame averages, you're getting like 80-90 frame averages. But it just adds in that little bit of lag, input lag. But when you're playing single player, you're playing against, you know, once you start kind of figuring out, just like in this game where you figure out how bots kind of work and how their vision works and their hearing and how they maneuver and things like that, that input lag is really not a huge deal. But those two things, single player Tarkov and with my experience in my computer, adding the lossless scaling helps kind of make it a good experience ultimately. But yeah, man, GZW is I'm really hoping that the dev team can keep putting into this. You know, hopefully they're making the money to be able to continually develop this game, because I really do think that this has a chance of competing seriously with Tarkov. And it still kind of lives in that same realm where it's, you know, it's hardcore, it like kicks your ass, it's realistic, and you know, you have that just that general like gameplay loop that you see in both of those games. Because like I played Delta Force, and I played that Arena Breakout Infinite, which is also not bad. I don't know if you played that one. Both of those are free to play, by the way. So it literally costs you nothing to get into to try that game, which is pretty sweet. But you know, both of those they're fun too, man. Absolutely, I think they're fun games, but they're just not. They're not gray zone, and they're not Tarkov. You know, they have their own little niche that they're trying to fill. Yeah, that's the problem with them though. They both are PvP, so and they have cheaters, like just like every other freaking game, man. They have cheaters that are like wall hacking and, you know, aimbotting and all that kind of crap. You know, they're working, from what I've been reading, they're working hard to try to eliminate that, but you're never going to eliminate it completely. It's always just trying to you're chasing your tail with trying to beat those. But it's fun though, man. And they're definitely fun games, and definitely worth like putting some time into to play them. But it certainly does have that issue where, I mean, you're playing PvP, and sometimes you lose all your shit, and you got to do that cycle again, you know. But man, if I was in your position, oh, I got to change this out. This thing's so beat up. If I was in your position, man, I would look at single player Tarkov. I really think you would enjoy that based off of what you're saying. Just because of the fact that you can tailor that game how you want it, right? You can turn it up and down difficulty wise, and it just makes it fun, in my opinion. Like, I know some guys, they live for just the PvP side of it, and in that case, then, you know, don't play that game. It's not made for you. But I have a lot of fun playing single player Tarkov, so